All right, welcome back. Another episode, Shining in Korea. So we are in the kitchen, and there's a Christmas tree. Isn't it cute? What is this? This is like a gingerbread, or it's a gingerbread Christmas tree. Our friend Lena over at 292 made for us. Apparently, she felt bad because I don't like Christmas trees and I don't put one up, so she made me a Christmas tree. She says she just loves us. I think she just pities me.
Okay, maybe she just here.
Okay, maybe she likes her. Anyway, so aside from our Christmas tree, we're getting ready to start another recipe. All right, class, who knows what this is? This is an Asian sweet potato, gogama. So these are delicious if they're cooked correctly. But I don't want to make a vodka out of it because, one, I don't really have the equipment to make a vodka. I don't have a column still or anything. So we're going with more of a bourbon style whiskey corn base, and we're gonna add some potato to it. So, got good old Korean frozen corn here. We've got Korean malted barley. We did eventually find this, if I hadn't mentioned that before. We finally found malted barley. Believe it or not, it's just in the damn grocery store. They use it for stuff here. They make a drink called shike? Yeah, they make a drink called shike that uses it, I think. So, yay. Now we're like all Korean ingredients. I got Korean sugar in the back there, Korean sweet potatoes. We're fully local here. Anyway, so I'm not gonna make y'all watch most of the boring stuff, but I'm gonna boil up some corn, blend it up, or I'm gonna blend it up and then boil it up, one or the other, I don't know which. Y'all know how that goes. Cook that at about 190 Fahrenheit let it cool for about an hour and a half. Add your barley when it hits around 150 along with your amylase. And basically we're gonna make grain soup. And then once that gets down to about 90, 100-ish, we are gonna take a bunch of these that I've got cooking in the oven, and we are going to frappe them up, mix it all together. So we'll show you some highlights along the way, but we'll be back when we get to the good stuff. So I've got a bucket of corn and sweet potatoes and whatnot cooking off here. And I gotta admit, this looks like the worst bowl of stew ever. Hopefully it makes better liquor. All right, everybody. So we're on about a week, and let me show you what I got. So my grand plan here, as you can see, has actually worked pretty well. After I racked all the mash out into another bucket, I put all my leftover solids in this little drainer basket and set like 3 or 4 big bags of sugar on top of it to press it down. So it's squeezed it down about yay much. So that is fairly solid. I'm gonna have to throw that out. Oh Lord, that's heavy. And there we got some mash. So now I get to pour all that into the kit over there to get ready to heat up and hook up all the connections so we can run some shine. All right, so I'm over here, I'm hooking my stuff up, and I figured I'd show you a little bit ado about the thump keg. So I got my thump keg here. First thing I'm gonna do with this is this is just how I run this one, but I got this little screener thing, and I got some copper mesh. So I'm gonna pack the copper mesh down at the bottom and put that in there. Now, why is that important? Because on the lid of this thing, on the bottom side, I found these little 4-inch, some sort of bathroom stainless steel extension, but they fit the threads on the bottom of this pipe, and with that I can drop that right in that little basket there on top of that copper. That gives me a mesh buffer right there so the steam can come down, go through the little tube and into the stuff in the bottom of the thump keg. But the mesh will keep the solids and whatnot from getting into the tube, because if my induction eye here happens to cut off and it's off for a minute or two, this will start to cool down, which means it'll start to pull vacuum. The steam will condense and it'll start trying to pull up, which means it will start trying to suck whatever's in the thump keg up through this little tube here. And that's not good. You don't want that. So that's what the screen's for. Keep the solids in the thump keg. It may suck up whatever liquid's in there, but if it's all like alcohol and tails and whatnot, it's going to cook it back out anyway, so not a big problem. Now, on top of that, because we are doing our Korean sweet potato, I guess you would call this kind of a bourbon-ish recipe, because it's grain and barley base with sweet potatoes flavoring it, we have stopped by a local coffee shop. It's a great thing about Korea. Coffee shops, convenience stores, whatnot, when it's cold and nasty outside, most of them cook sweet potatoes. So we're gonna peel some of these sweet potatoes here. Peel starts coming right off. And we are going to chunk these up into the thump keg. I got a couple more over there we're gonna do. That is tasty. We're gonna put those in there, and I got some tails from a sugar shine run that I'm gonna put in there. And then we'll lock that up, and that's how I'm flavoring everything in this run. Now, I gotta finish scooping this out and save some for the dogs because they love them some goguma. All right, so back to the sweet potato whiskey.
So I took 4 really small Korean sweet potatoes and we baked them in the oven, roasted them. Then I scooped out the insides. I put it in the food processor with some water, and then I added just a little bit of brown sugar, dark brown sugar, for flavoring, just to punch a little bit of the sweet, but not to overpower it.
We've made a sweet potato smoothie.
Yeah, I made a sweet potato smoothie. But it's not like super sweet. It enhanced the sweetness of the super sweet potato without...
It tastes like a baked sweet potato with a little brown sugar glaze on it.
Yeah.
Which is what we want.
So, there's a little bit if you want to taste again to see where you were. Pour the whole thing in.
I'm just going to pour it in there and let it soak.
All of it?
Yeah.
He had a totally different idea than I had. All right.
Now the idea in this is that a lot of this smoothie is actual sweet potato. So once this sits for a week or two and absorbs the flavors, we should be able to, I don't think coffee filters will do it, but we should be able to run it through like cheesecloth or a Brita filter or something. Cheesecloth. And pull the sediment, the sweet potato out of it. And we should...
We won't be getting much of it out of it. To be fair, I mean, some of that's going to stick. It's going to bind to the...
Yeah, I know some of it's going to stick, but I know it doesn't count for much, but I'm going to taste it. I know the taste isn't going to be what it'll be in a couple weeks, but I want to see if it made any noticeable difference in the...
Well, you might as well put some in the glass so we can both taste.
That's sweet potato.
It hitched up the heat, though.
Well, there was some heat with it already because it was sitting at 100 proof.
Yes, but it wasn't as hot as that is now. So the sugar punched up the heat a little bit, I think.
Maybe, but when we strain it out, we might add a little water, temper it down a little bit.
Well, I think we should give it... I honestly think we should stick the Amberana in there for a day or two. Amberana's going to give it that cinnamon, that slight bit of cinnamon, that's going to make it taste just like a fucking sweet potato.
I'm not against that, but I say we wait till we strain this so that we don't get particulates and whatnot on our Amberana sticks.
Now I can put the lid back on.
So yet another stage in this.
I swear, I think all of our liquors are in some stage at this point.
Well, that's because before we were doing simple stuff like let's make a corn whiskey, and it's pretty easy to just do that, add a little water, and say okay, we're done. Now we're playing with weird stuff.
Now we're playing with science.
Which, strangely enough, we did find on YouTube today that what's his name, Randy from Stillworks. Or whatever, posted a video. Apparently he made a sweet potato
He made a sweet potato bourbon. Ours is whiskey because we can't be bourbon.
Yeah, he had...
And his had like corn, wheat, and rye, and malted barley in it.
Yeah, I think so. He had like four different grains and the sweet potatoes. We just got 2, but apparently we were thinking along the same...
But he doesn't have Korean goguma.
Yes, he does not have goguma.
And he did not do a simple syrup in his.
No, he was just making straight bourbon.
I think he might have used more sweet potatoes than we used.
He might have.
Yeah. So, ours, on the other hand, we kind of always knew we were going to end up putting a small amount of simple syrup. It was just a matter of him trusting that I knew how to make a sweet potato simple syrup.
So.
Do you trust me now?
Maybe.
I tried.
Anyway, we'll see y'all in a couple weeks when we have to either filter this or add Amberana to it or water or whatever the hell we do with it. In about 3, 2, 1, now. All right, everybody, update time. Sweet potato corn whiskey.
Melissa made a,
Sweet potato simple syrup.
yeah, basically mashed up roasted sweet potatoes with a little bit of sugar and water, and we mixed it in with the syrup and let it sit for, what's it been, a week, 2 weeks?
It's been a week.
Been a week. So we pull it out, we tasted it, and it's
Beautiful.
almost exactly what I was thinking when I decided on the recipe.
The nose on it's perfect. The taste on it, you can taste sweet potato. You can still taste the corn.
The sweet from the corn works in with the sweet from the sweet potato, but you can still taste you taste it and it's like, that's sweet potato. There's no mistaking it.
So right now what we're doing is we are attempting to filter out some of the sweet potato.
As you can see,
Oh, excuse me.
the sludge from the potatoes is
Sludgy.
So we're trying to filter that out.
It's going relatively well.
We were thinking on whether or not we should age a little bit because we've got some amberana sticks, which would give it a nice cinnamony flavor, and you know, sweet potatoes with butter and cinnamon is a good flavor. But with the corn in it, I don't even think it needs regular oak. I think it just needs.
We actually don't want to age. We're not going to age this one at all. This one, the only aging this will get is just by sitting.
Just sitting in a jar.
This one has such a good flavor that I don't want to mess with it much more than what we've already done. That's why I'm trying to very carefully remove as much of the sweet potato sediment. So if you ever see any of our alcohols out and about and it doesn't look like this, it's because we have infused it or we have flavored it with actual fruit or vegetable, depending upon what it is. And sometimes the sediment of that will still be in there. So if you give it a little swirl, it mixes back in. It's fine.
It's all flavor.
It's flavor. So it's not artificial flavor either. So artificial flavors come in like little
jars, little droppers.
Yeah. And then you can't see that they're in there. We're actually putting the real stuff in.
This is a jar of sweet potato mash.
So, yes.
So we're going to try and filter this out, clean it up, but success on this one. This is a good...
We will probably actually run again.
Now, Melissa has a different way she wants to run it. She wants to try like a roasted, like sweet potato...
brandy or liqueur.
Right. She has a different way in mind. She wants to try and run it. We will also do that. But this recipe, let's go into the book.
Seeing as the corn works really well with it, we may put corn in my recipe as well. I haven't decided yet, but I actually might just want to do straight sweet potato and see what we get.
So.
You'll know because we'll do a video.
We'll let y'all know. Content. Anyway, like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. See the Bias Coffee link below.
This one's a win.
Anyway, we'll see y'all next time.
Redneck's moonshine book.
There you go.
God, that would be hilarious.
I've got enough friends in low places, but